Good evening, good evening. As always, I want to thank God for another day. Thank Him for allowing us to be better than the people that we were yesterday. Um, I want to talk tonight to my brothers. And when I mean by my brothers, I mean men, all men. Um, when we're dating a young lady or a woman, um, we send flowers, we send them nice little text messages. We we give them surprise vacations. We do all these little nice sweet things, little gifts, leave little notes, on the counter for them to see in the morning. Um, might leave a note in the car. You know, just little special things that we do. Just little small things. Rub the feet when they come home. Run the bath water. And have little candles and little wine, whatever it is that your lady likes. You know, we do all these things, and a lot of times when we get married, the first thing people want to tell you is that you still have to date your wife. You have to keep up the things that you did when you was dating her. You have to keep those same things up when you marry her, and that is so true. That is true. But one thing that a lot of people do not tell you is that you have to up your communication. You have to up your being understanding. You have to be sensitive. A lot of guys, they want to be like, well, I ain't sensitive, I ain't this. You have to be sensitive. You have to be compassionate. You know, and the reason why I say you have to be sensitive, because you're dealing with a woman. You have to be in order for you to understand her, you have to be sensitive towards her feelings. You know, and you have to be understanding. You have to communicate. A lot of us guys, we don't like to communicate well. We don't like to argue. I know at one point in time, I was that guy that I'm not argumentative. When it comes to when I'm having a disagreement, and if it's about to be an argument, I'll just shut down and won't talk, won't say nothing, because I don't like to argue. But what I had to understand, and what you guys have to understand, is that when you're married, especially when you're married, in the relationship period, but when you're married, you have to understand that you can't shut down. You have to communicate and talk. You have to figure out what's wrong. We have to figure out what's wrong that made it become an argument. You have to figure out what's wrong that make you aggravated. See, when you're married, you have to be the number one person that understands your wife. You have to understand her feelings. You have to understand, hey, you have to know that, hey, something ain't right today. She seemed a little off. She seemed like, she might be aggravated or something. You have to know these things. A lot of you guys, you pay so much attention to the girls on Instagram, and you pay so much attention to your TikTok videos and all this stuff. Your head's so zoned in on that you don't really know what's going on in your own house. You know what I'm saying? Your wife is your number one priority. Your wife come before your kids. Your wife come before your mother. The only one above your wife is God. The only one above your wife is God. And you have to understand that. A lot of you guys don't understand it because God is not your foundation. And you have to have God as your foundation in order for your marriage to work as it should work. You get what I'm saying? So, guys, you have to pay attention to what's going on in your house. You have to be apologetic. You have to be understanding, compassionate. A lot of times, and it's okay if things starting to get a little heated, and you be like, hey, you know what? Let's just calm down, and let's just revisit this when we both got a cool head. But what you don't want to do is, you don't want to come back to the conversation and say, you know what, I'm sorry for yelling, or I'm sorry for saying this to hurt your feelings, and then next thing you know, that y'all done had the intimate moment where you made up. But what you didn't do is, you just made up for and saying I'm sorry for what? Why are you sorry? You're sorry for saying something that hurt the person's feelings. You're sorry for yelling or raising your voice. But we have to talk about what was the problem that led up to that. You have to get an understanding on what happened that made her feel this way. What happened that made her say this? What did I do that made her feel this way? Or what did anybody do to make her be in the mood that she is in? And then you got to talk it out. Because you can date your wife all day long. You can send her flowers and run a bath water and rub her feet and rub her back and send on girls trip. You can do all those things. But these are the very, very important things that you have to do as well. You have to be understanding of her feelings, because how you read something, she might not read it that way. How you interpret something, she's not going to interpret it that way. You know, she can say something to you and you might take it one way. You can say that same thing to her and she might take it another way. You have to understand that she is a woman and you are a man. Not saying that she is weak, but what I'm saying is she is a woman and you are a man. She is a different individual than you. And just like you might take something totally wrong that she might say, and she might not take it that way. You know, and this can go both ways. This can go both ways, but I really want to just talk to my guys. I want to talk to my guys because us as men, we tend to let this fall by the wayside. We tend to not be compassionate. We tend to not when our wife is having a down day, sometimes they just need a hug. They just need a hug. Sometimes they just want you to grab them and they just want to lay in your arms and want you to hug them. You know, sometimes you just need to be an ear to listen. Sometimes you might have to give advice. You know, because when they are frustrated, when they are down, you have to know that something's not right. You know, and if you don't know that something's not right with your wife when things are not the way they should be, then you're not paying attention to your home. If everybody else is saying, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? How you know? I just called to check on you because yesterday at work, you didn't seem like you was doing too good. Well, I just came by to see how you doing because, you know, yesterday when I came by, you seemed down, blah, blah, blah. If everybody around you, if everybody in your circle can understand and can see this clearly something is wrong, and you can't see it, then you're not paying attention to what's going on in your home. You're not paying attention to the number one person in your life. You're not paying attention to where your attention is needed. You understand? So it's cool to date. It's cool to flowers and do all those special and nice things. But you have to be understanding. You have to be compassionate. You have to be an ear. You have to put yourself in a position that, hey, look, you know, how she handled things, I'm not going to handle things. You have to be grateful for your wife. You have to let her know that you are grateful for her. Because, like I said, this conversation can go both ways, but I really want to talk to my guys because I see so many people, their marriage is just going downhill. And one of the main reasons is because, guys, you are not building your foundation on God. You can't build your foundation off the love of the woman. You have to build your foundation off God. And then you can build the foundation. Then you can add on top of that the love of the woman. But you have to add God to your marriage. It's so many people that are getting married and that are married that God is not the base. God is not the foundation. But then when problems come, you don't know how to handle them. Man, let me tell you something. You have to stay prayed up. Because marriage, a lot of people say marriage is what you make it. Marriage is what you make it. Man, look here. You talk to God all the time. Talk to God all the time. Ask him to give you guidance. Ask him to give you the words to say. You know, ask him to be what your wife needs you to be. You know, because this is the woman that you are going to be with for the rest of your life. Now, none of us are going to be perfect. None of us are going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes because us as men, we're going to have days that we just don't have it. We done had a long day. We done had a tough day. And we might want somebody to be that person for us. But you pray. 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 Your relationship should be built on top of God. And man, we have to be understanding. We have to be compassionate. We have to open up. We can't just shut down our feelings just because we're feeling some type of way about what they said or about what they've done. You know, we can't just shut down. We have to, if we want them to open up to us, we as men have to open up to them as well. You know, we can't just, a lot of us as men, we like to hold our feelings inside and kind of just power through. But we can't do that. We are a team. We are one. You know, you are the head. She is the neck. So you have to involve her in what's going on with you. You know, a lot of men, we try to keep things to ourselves in order to protect our wife. But no, our wife is there to help us. They're going to help us get through our personal storm that we're trying to go through alone, but we're not supposed to go through it alone, because that's why we are married, because she is our helpmate. She is the neck to our head. You understand? So, guys, I need you. Your wife needs you. Your family needs you. Hey, they need you to pay more attention to what's going on in your house. Be more compassionate. Along with dating your wife, be more understanding to her feelings. Because just because you might handle some kind of way, that doesn't mean that she will handle it the same exact way. You know. And you have to always ask God to guide your tongue, because you don't want your words to be misled. You know, you don't want to say something and you didn't mean it that way, and next thing you know, it turns into an argument, and you're arguing about something that was nothing. You know, because let me tell you something, the devil is going to always trying to find a way into your marriage, because he doesn't want you married in the first place. He doesn't want you married in the first place. So he's going to find any kind of window, any kind of crack in the door. He's going to find anything that he can to try his best to get rid of you or to get rid of her. Because he wants you back out in the streets doing the things that you probably used to do, or he wants you to do some things that he wants you to do that is the opposite of what God wants you to do. You know, I'm not saying, hey, stop dating your wife and stop doing it and pay more attention and be more understanding. I'm not saying that. But this right here is valuable information, because this is what we need to do. Because you got to think about something. Once you get married, guys, that's not the end. That is the beginning. That is the start. And every day you need to improve yourself so you can help improve your marriage. Whether you're attending church, whether you're reading the Bible, whether you are reading a book about how to be a better husband or how to add to your marriage or whatever, whether you're going to a counselor, whether you're going to seminars about marriage, whatever you can do to better your marriage. It's just like when you play sports. When you was a football player, baseball player, swimmer, basketball player, soccer player, tennis player, whatever you played, you did everything you could to better your craft, so you can be better the next year, the next season, the next day. Every day you're trying to better your craft, every single day. Okay, so it's the same thing with your marriage. You done got married. You made the team. Now it's time for me to get better. You got married. You are a team. You are one. So now, what can I do to help better this team? What can I do to help better this team? Because you are the head. You are the leader. You know, you are the head. So you have to understand that just because you got married, that don't mean, oh, I'm going out kicking with the guys, or I'm going out doing all this. No. When you date someone, you are here. When you become engaged, you level up. And when you get married, you level up again. And now that you're married, you do your best to level up every day, because you yourself, you try to be the best husband, the best friend that you can be. Because not only are you her husband, you are her best friend. She can tell you anything. She should be able to tell you things that she can't tell her girlfriends, because you are the one that comes before everyone but God. You know. So, guys, do your best and be grateful for your wife. Let her know that you're grateful for her. Let her know that you love her, that you know, and just be there. Be understanding of her feelings, be understanding that we all know that every day is not a good day for everybody. You know, and some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad. We're going to have ups and downs. We're going to have personal storms that we deal with. And, you know, as we get older, a lot of things are going to come our way. The devil's going to try to break your marriage up any way that he can. But, guys, you have to stay prayed up. You have to stay locked in. And just every day you strive to be the best person, the best husband, and the best friend that you can be. Because not only does that's what your marriage requires, you know, that's what God requires of you as a husband. You know, you made the team now. You know, you done asked the question. She said yes. You done made the team. Y'all done got married, and now, okay, what are we gonna do? Am I gonna still act like the same person I was when we were just dating? Am I gonna act like the same person I was like when we was engaged? No. We're married now. So I have to I have to be different. I have to be different. And be different in a good way. You know, because you got to understand this. You have kids that are watching you, not just your kids, but your kids' friends. You got your friends that are watching. You got your wife's friends that are watching you. You got some relatives on both sides that are watching you. You know, and you might be the only example of a good, steady marriage that a person can see. So, build your foundation off God. Then add the love that you have for your woman. And then be understanding. Be compassionate. You know. Don't take it for granted just because you're married. Don't just say, she'll be all right. Don't do that. Try to figure out what's wrong. You know, be their shoulder. Sometimes it might not be nothing. Sometimes she just want to be in your presence. And I'm not saying this to make it seem like your wife is weak or your woman is weak or nothing like that. I'm just saying, as a man, you have to be more than just tough and a provider. You have to be more than that. You have to be more than that. You have to be understanding. You have to be compassionate. You have to communicate. You know, you have to be sensitive to their feelings. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys. To all my brothers out there, you know, hey, the world is rough, and they're not promoting marriage like they should. And so, don't give up on love. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on what you have. Just continue to pray. Continue to keep God first, because the world doesn't want you to get married. The world doesn't want you to get married. And you can believe that or not, but they don't. It doesn't. The devil's going to do everything he can to keep you from getting married. He's going to do everything. He's going to do everything. You know, I made a lot of mistakes. You know, it took me a long time to get married. Long time. Even when I was dating my wife, it took me a long time. You know, but I'm here now. God blessed me and covered me and watched over me until this old hard-headed joker got it. And so I strive to be the best. I'm not the best, but that's what I strive for. You know, And every day you should learn something. You learn something every day and you build off that. You know, don't cradle your feelings and hold them in and not share it with your wife just because you don't want to seem like you're a sensitive person, or you don't want to seem like, I don't feel like, I'll be all right. I'll get over it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go run tell your boys, but then you can't tell your wife. Because see, you got to realize that your boys ain't the one that you got the issue with. Now it's okay to tell your fellas, and they probably gonna give you some good sound advice if they're your true friends. But at the end of the day, you got to come to your wife and explain it to your wife and let her know, hey baby, this is what's what. And then she might do you the same way. She might go tell her girlfriends because she can't tell you, because you're going to get upset, because you're going to get mad. But you can't do that. You have to elevate and let her know that, look, baby, look, you can talk to me about anything. Anything. Now, you might not always like what she say. You might not like how she say it. But you guys got to communicate and talk it out. Because the more you hold stuff in, the more you go tell other people, the more you don't acknowledge each other's feelings and don't share each other's feelings. All you're doing is putting a wedge in between you guys. And the more you stay silent, the devil just hitting that wedge and making it go further and further and further and further apart. So I hope this helps someone. I hope it reached someone. I hope all you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay cool, because we know how that Mississippi heat is. Keep God first. Stay encouraged. And always encourage others. And until next time, as always, I am the Blueprint.